Pretty Little Liars, the television series, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have 2 new episodes for you of Pretty Little Liars, Season 7.
Yes, the heavy episodes this week.
We do.
At least that first one.
It just makes me so sad for Spencer.
Yeah. I mean, it's well done, but like, damn, it's heavy. And then that scene is followed by an extremely harrowing scene with Allison. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So it's not fun, you know. We're like it moves into deadly serious territory. Like even the scene where Caleb comes, like there's no music really, like everything's kind of dead. It's just like the emotions of the scene in front of you, and the emotions of the scene are like heightened, but like a little bit more like grounded of like in their relationship. And then also you have to see what like Allison going through her trauma of an abuse, like to put on a show essentially. Oof.
And we can talk more about it when we get to it, but I've always really liked the way they blocked or like set up visually the scene of Caleb talking to Spencer through the door with Hanna and like in the corner, and kind of like the imagery of Spencer in between Caleb and Hanna. And like how she feels like she's had to shove herself in between Caleb and Hanna, and like this idea that she's like, you two have to like fucking figure it out because like you're both hurting me.
Yeah. And
also like I have to protect Hanna right now, and I don't want to have to protect Hanna right now, but like I have to from a friend perspective, but from a like, excuse me, you kissed my boyfriend perspective, I'm not very happy with you.
Yeah, I'd rather like throttle you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the whole arc that we go, or you know, at least Spencer's emotional arc that we kind of follow is very understandable and relatable. Of just like, yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, but there's also a whole lot of fun on the way that we get to jump into too. That is not a joke. There is actually some fun stuff in this episode.
Yeah, I do kind of miss like the more hijinksy vibes.
Yep.
It's like they really fluctuate between like camp and seriousness towards the end here. And it's not campy enough to be camp.
It's much more, since the shift of the dollhouse, the tone becomes much more like the focus on
somber.
Like, exactly. Yeah.
Like horror-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think that freeform jump specifically is it's intentional.
Yeah. And it's trying for more of that like gritty like realism, and I think that shows in positive ways. I think in ways of Caleb and Spencer's dynamic, like that scene specifically, but then also it kind of like leaches a lot of the more melodramatic moments positive. The fun melodramatic moments, I say, because it's not that there isn't melodrama and the gritty realism there, but it's just not the same.
It also, I feel like, so one of my complaints with that is it takes away from Mona. Because I think Mona does best in the more, like, when she rolls up with that car, like, you're like, oh.
Here we go.
She's here. Like, Mona and Jenna really deserve more hijinksy, girl bossy, silly, goofy mood. You know what I mean?
It's the return of the girl bosses this week.
It is Return of the Girl Bosses. Should write that down for the episode title.
Okay, yeah. Cornet in my brain. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think all the Mona stuff is great because this is way more involved than she's ever been. So it's like, yes, finally. The Jenna things, as with everything that's Jenna, is a little bit more mixed. But we'll see. Because it, again, goes right back to fluctuating between, like, she's really manipulative and she's not in control.
Yeah, and what's happening with her and Sarah and who is she, the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll see. But... there's some good stuff there, but yeah, the much more like season 3 like heightened ridiculous mood that is like my favorite.
Season like the season 3 season 4 era is really where I think the show shines. It was always my favorite. A lot of people really love the dollhouse. Personally, I found it very upsetting.
Which it is.
When I first watched it, I was like, Jesus Christ, this was my happy little fun show. I mean, sure, they were killing people already, and like, but it was silly goofy. You hit Wilden with the car, and the next thing you know, he's up walking around.
Yeah, that's great. Hitting Wilden with the car. But yeah, the dollhouse, as we kind of noted, it's a big shift in tone. So then you're kind of for worse, I think, overall. Because that's just not more reflective of the time, but less interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it grew up, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah,
it tried to grow up, I should say.
Yeah, in the ways that we like would codify like growing up, and I think a lot of people still do.
Exactly, grew up.
Yeah. That because it's like more realistic and like taking things like more seriously and like it's more gritty, that it's somehow more adult. Where it's like, yeah, but adult things also are campy, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I think I'll be interested to see with Original Sin and all of those kind of how that plays, because like from what I've seen of that creator, everything he has created has gotten more and more camp with each passing second you get of the show.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like season 7, but plays like season 3.
Exactly. I always think about like Sabrina specifically. Like it started with like, they were like, oh, like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like, oh, we eat people. And next thing you know, you're like, I gotta go get my boyfriend demon from the demons of hell. And you're just like, okay, like girl boss, let's go.
Right.
Like Yellow Brick Road style.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally is like Yellow Brick Road style. I feel like it's pretty,
Yeah. Not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah. Well, and just like the way they play the scenes, I feel like it was very campy looking. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. That is my type of thing.
Oh yeah, and the way they play with like, oh god, nope, that's the wrong word. Polyamory and just like open love and stuff between all the witches and stuff, and because they're all immortals. Yeah.
Yeah, just fuck who you want. You got forever.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I mean, as long as it's consensual, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway. Back to where we currently are in Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, exactly. So let's kick off with summary, shall we?
We shall.
Huzzah.
That's all you.
Season 7, episode 4, episode 144. Hit and run, run, run. Spencer, Arya, and Emily dig the grave from the season over, and it is in fact that they're burying Rollins. Spencer looks over at Allison sitting in front of the car, asking what to do with them. The camera then pans to show that Hannah's still sitting in the front seat with blood on her face. The girls dig as Hanna grabs a shovel and walks up. She starts adding dirt. The other friends tell her to go sit in the car. Hanna says she has to help. Arya pushes to go to the police. Emily and Spencer say they can't and that the police wouldn't believe them, probably. The thing I was thinking before we recorded is that Tanner's probably putting together a killer case file on why they did it, and she's actually going to be right. It's I think we've brought up a pup named Scooby-Doo multiple times on this show, but it's
a red herring episode.
It's the episode where Fred actually gets the cat, where it is actually the red herring.
I wonder where you can stream that.
I think you had to pay for it on Amazon.
No.
Last time I checked.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
A pup named Scooby-Doo should be for everyone.
That's right. It's for the people.
Sorry.
Praxis. Okay. They're going to pretend that Rollins skipped town. Arya says they have to get Allison back at Welby, not Wembley, Jesus Christ. Before they notice. Back to the pitch.
I never know which one it is.
I always want to say Wembley. Before they notice that she's missing, the nurses don't check on patients during the night. Arya wonders how they'll get...
How does Emily know that?
Aha! I just know these things. I guess that maybe they tell her a lot when she goes to like try and see Allison. No, they don't check on her because our nurses don't check on our patients at night.
I guess so.
I guess. Arya wonders how they'll get into Welby. Allison walks over to the grave, sticks her hand in the loose dirt, and fishes out Rollins' ID badge and says, "You're gonna need this." Awesome.
I'm like, she's back, baby.
Yeah, Allison is back. The friends are all, she really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. The friends are all driving in Rollins' car. Emily is looking through his phone and can't find any emoji text or anything weird on his evil emoji text or anything weird on his phone. They have a whole plan down where they'll put his jacket on a train with his phone to Delaware to make it look like he skipped town. Hanna freaks out that she's going to jail, and Spencer and Emily yell at her to stay calm. Irony of ironies. Toby looks up Rollins' medical profile at this police station. He gets a text from Yvonne asking if he's coming home, and he texts her that it'll be a long night. Hanna gets out of the shower back at the Hastings barn and finds a glass shard in her hair. Emily's freaking out downstairs with Spencer while they're cleaning up the floor. Hanna comes into the room as Emily leaves. She notices Spencer is bleeding while Spencer keeps cleaning. Hanna asks Spencer to, hey, can we move forward? And starts to go, I swear I wasn't, but gets cut off by Caleb at the door. Spencer ran over and put the, what's that called? Safety latch? Where it's the chain bolt?
Yeah.
So we have it on our door, but I can't remember what it's called. Chain lock.
I always say the chain. I'm sure it's got a real name.
Yeah. And so locks it so he can only open it so far. So it's just part of his face. He calls for Spencer and says, if I have to break open a window to get in there to make sure you're okay. Spencer's like, I'm fine, but we can't talk now. Caleb says, I want to talk to you. I'm sorry for earlier. It all came out wrong, and says the Hanna kiss was just a confusion. Hanna's around the corner hearing him.
My only question with this scene, sorry, and it's not a question for you, but why didn't she just go, Hannah's over right now, I can't talk?
Maybe, yeah. It would have been better from the beginning. And then maybe when he starts saying shit about Hanna, she's like, well.
Yeah. She's like, hey, I have company.
Or maybe Spencer's like, I want to see where this goes.
Me as fuck. Pot, sir.
Oh, confusion, huh? Say more.
Oh, what? It was a mistake?
Hannah's crying with blood on her glass shard.
Got mud on the ground.
Hannah's around the corner hearing him. Spencer begs him to leave. Caleb recalls his first summer in DC and how much them hanging out meant to him and how much he wanted to kiss her, and recalls specific memories they had together. Hanna cries around the corner. He asks if Spencer remembers it, and Spencer's like, yes, it was one of the best. She cries and he asks her to open the door again. She says, I want to, but I need more time. Caleb then leaves. Hanna goes to say to Spencer, maybe you should, but Spencer cuts her off and says, please don't. Arya and Allison go back into Welby. Arya goes to scout ahead, and when she comes back, Allison is gone. Complete vibe. If I was going to be put back in Welby, I'd be like, you're not putting me back in there. Some unknown time in the future, Emily is working at the Radley. So it's later that night, I think. So it's Emily's at work. And Spencer is having a martini. They discuss the plan to leave Rollins' jacket on the train, and Emily is packing up his overnight bag at Allison's house. Emily wonders where Arya is, and they receive a text from Hanna asking the exact same thing. Emily says to Spencer, you can't blame Hanna for your rockiness with Caleb. And Spencer's like, well, I can. She kissed him recently. And then Emily's like, oh, shit. Well, I didn't know that. But keep in mind, we've all been falling back into old habits. Spencer says, I get it. I felt a similar way when I saw Toby's ring, but Hanna had time to move on. Emily says, maybe the timing was off between you two. And Spencer says, what does that even mean? That's I hate when people say that. You're either in love with someone, or you either love someone or you don't. Fair. At Welby, Arya looks around for Allison and follows a nurse up some stairs when she suddenly hears glass break. She turns around and sees Allison at the bottom of the staircase, and she's like, I can't go back. Arya's like, no one will hurt you. Rollins is gone. Everyone is counting on us. Allison makes her promise to come back for her, and Arya says yes. Spencer continues to pound martinis when a waiter brings a drink. It's from a strange man down the bar. Ooh. Allison gets back into her bed as Arya goes to tie down her restraints, and Allison freaks out. Arya's like, they have to see what he did to you. He was a monster. One thing wrong with this plan, this is all stuff that is par for the course of part of this treatment facility. This isn't things that he brought on his own.
I don't know. Was the mask thing?
I think that's a thing because they don't want people,
biting.
Exactly. I assume biting down on their tongue or something like that.
But there's nothing in her mouth.
Except her teeth.
Yeah, but the thing doesn't go in her mouth. How would it stop her from biting her tongue? Does it stop her from opening her jaw completely?
That's what it looks like. I think it stops you from opening your mouth at all.
That's horrific.
Exactly, which is, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Makes me feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah. So this entire thing. So that's why I think, yeah.
I think all of the alley stuff with this is especially harrowing.
It's horrifying. And this is exactly I was talking about at the beginning. I'm like, Jesus.
Meanwhile, Spencer's having sex in an elevator. Sorry, I'm not there yet.
That's the kind of stuff we'll probably see more of in PLL Original Sin.
I don't know. It's like it's working class.
I mean, so was Riverdale.
That's true.
Yeah,
and they did have they still had a lot of I didn't mean the sex. I meant the in the elevator specifically of like a fancy hotel.
I see. Yeah, fair enough. Arya says
I was like, wait, we're having two different conversations.
Yep.
I'm talking about wealth and you're talking about fucking.
Yes. Arya says they have to see what they did to you. He was a monster. Allison says, I married that monster. I feel so stupid. He loves Charlotte. Didn't he? That's what the girl at the farm said, right? And then Arya's like, yes. Allison says, I can't believe after all those years, he thought I killed her. And Arya's like, well, did you? Fitz and I did see you that night. And Allison's like, I argued with Charlotte that night and followed her to the church. Flashback. Charlotte and Allison are arguing in the church bell tower. Charlotte says, you hooked up with my doctor all those times you came to the hospital. I thought you cared about me. Allison's like, we both cared about you. That's what made us close. Charlotte says, I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone. Allison leaves the bell tower, and as she's in the church, she hears a noise but doesn't see anything. But we see like a door kind of slowly close behind her. In the present, Arya wonders why Allison didn't tell the police, and Allison says they wouldn't believe me. You thought you thought I killed her. Allison thinks that if she hadn't left Charlotte, that she would still be alive. Arya gets a text from Hanna that she has the stuff. Allison tells her, you're forgetting something in the drawer. Arya opens up to find the mask and asks, are you sure? Allison says yes, and Arya ties it on her. Ugh. The man at the bar introduces himself to Spencer as Marco.
And he looks so much like Mr. Kelly Ripa. What's his name? Why can't I remember it? Hiram Lodge from Riverdale. It's all roads lead to Riverdale.
Yep. God, what is his name?
Mark Consuelos, right?
Perfect. Yep. Got it in one. Spencer tries to brush him off and he asks her to stay. She notices the Radley camera and decides to stay for a minute. A security camera. She tells him her name and he asks what she was doing that night and she says burying a body. Also, my question for this is this a Fitz situation and he knows who she is already? So,
we'll come back.
Hanna and Arya, I just wanted to flag that one. Hanna and Arya...
If so, then he has sex with her in an elevator?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we shocked by the police?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I'm sure it'll come back to me as we get closer, but I can't remember. I was like, oh, I'll make a joke. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be like me saying Rollins in an English accent where I actually am giving you information that I didn't know I had.
So funny in hindsight.
I was like Elliot Rollins. And then I was like, why did I? Yeah, and then it clicked. And I was like, oh, fuck, he is British.
I would have never guessed in a million years.
No, because I do that all the time. Yeah. And I didn't do it because...
him being a bad guy, that was like something we were like all on board with. But like, we had the music sting. But then him being British. All right. So Hanna and Arya are in the woods. Hanna wonders if Allison is lying, and Arya says no, she's telling the truth. Hanna stops in the road and realizes that the car is gone. The car that they crashed into Rollins with. So Lucas's car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spencer and Marco have a great time at the bar, and she misses a text from Arya. Spencer goes to leave. She pays for the drinks and says, I don't want you getting the wrong idea, Marco. He asks, what wrong idea? And then we cut to Spencer and Marco hooking up in the elevator. Spencer it gets like turned around and sees herself like in the like reflective surface of the elevator, and then freaks out and during the hookup and pulls the emergency stop on the elevator and says, I can't do this. He's like, it's fine, and slowly reactivates the elevator. Hanna and Arya search for the car. Hanna says it was absolutely this tree and it's gone. Arya says it has to be here. Cars don't just up and drive themselves. Hanna sees tire tracks and says somebody else drove it. Emily is in the barn and back with Rollins' overnight bag. She gets a call from Spencer, who says she can't do her part. She can't even drive. And Emily's like, okay, where are you? Hanna calls Emily and Spencer and tells them it's off. We have to torch the whole idea. And they see a car drive up and Mona gets out and she's like, you really need my help.
That's literally, Brenton's like, Mona's like super nanny. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you really need my help. And I was like,
exactly. I only know that meme. I've never seen the episode where
I don't think I ever watched Super Nanny.
Yeah, I didn't either. But there's just the meme of like the nanny in the car being like driven over there in the like British taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Mona, Hanna, and Arya catch up at Lucas's. After Hanna got captured, Mona started keeping a closer eye on things. When Allison got locked up, she's like, I should start tracking Rollins, and followed his GPS to the woods. She said it was super easy to find Lucas's car. She says it would have been bad to abandon the car in the woods because a burned car in the woods would attract suspicion. She went and got the windshield fixed and asked what they did with Rollins' burner. Hanna's like, wait, what burner phone? I mean, Mona is on it. It just shows how bad they are at this. There's another moment next episode where it's like, Jesus. Emily helps drunk Spencer into the barn. Emily took care of everything and gets mad at Spencer for losing control. Spencer says there were a few years when I felt free and didn't get scared about things, and that it was all over, but now we're right back where we started, and I have aiding and abetting and a failed relationship to add. Emily gives her coffee, and Spencer apologizes for screwing things up. Emily says, it's okay, we're all right. We're all right there with you back in this business. The next day, the friends are all out to brunch at Radley. They're discussing Rollins and what happened with his burner. Mona calls out that his American accent is fake. She also says we have to find the phone. Arya's freaking out, and Hanna tells her to just drink her mimosa. They discuss finding the phone to link to Rollins' accomplice, and Spencer is insistent it's Mary Drake. Like, who else could it be? Cue the sound of a walking stick hitting the Radley floor. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenna.
Jenna Marshall.
Arya says holy, and then Hanna shushes her, and Jenna walks up to the table and is like, hi, Hanna. And Arya, is that you? I thought I heard you. And don't tell me everybody's here. Jenna is back to celebrate in Toby's engagement. Emily asks,
that's all. I was just looking at you.
Okay. It's like, that's very... You're kind of like,
I'm suspicious of Jenna.
Yeah, maybe. It's like, did I do something?
No.
It's a little video joke for all you audio podcast listeners.
I was literally just looking at him, I think.
You were just, it was definitely, I could see like suspicious of Jenna, like that kind of, it was like that kind of look, but I was kind of like.
I was like playing the scene in my head. Mm-hmm. I'm like following along with my picture images.
And me being like, did I say something?
Am I in trouble?
Yeah. I swear I didn't do it. Emily asks if she's staying at the Radley. Jenna says, didn't you hear my house blew up? We're back, baby.
Girl.
She also congratulated Hanna on her engagement, and Hanna asks how she knows, and Jenna's like, oh, through the grapevine. Maybe I'll go and visit Allison later and see how she feels, pay her back for her visit to me. Jenna walks away, and Arya says, we kill someone, and she comes tapping back into town. If these girls ever meet an actual disabled person, Jesus Christ.
Arya specifically has some of the worst lines. I mean, yeah, you're just like, good God, girl.
Spencer says it's a coincidence. Spencer ignores a call from Caleb and gets up as Hanna notices and follows. Hanna asks if she'll stay mad at her forever, and Spencer's like, no, but I need to be mad at you for a little while longer, and if you want to be a good friend, just let me be mad at you. Hanna says, okay, like, go see him. Don't worry about, like, all this stuff and finding the burner phone. And Spencer's like, well, what should I even do about last night? And Hannah's like, go tell him the truth. She tells Spencer to go, and Spencer heads off. Toby comes back with snackies from patrol and finds Jenna outside the police department. And he asks what she's doing here. She says, I hear you're engaged. Toby says, does my dad know you're here? She's like, I like to think of him as my dad, too. I thought since I was back in town, we'd try and make amends. Toby says, I remember we tried that 3 years ago and it didn't go so well. Jenna says, I would really like to try again. Mona tries to find the phone, but she can't do it without having the burner phone's number. She apologizes to Hanna for not helping her and says, you have a lot. For not helping. And Hanna says, no, you have a lot in the past couple days. Like, these have been bad, and Spencer was right. I had time to stop before I hit Rollins, but when I saw him, I remembered being in a cold, dark room, so I was confused. Or like, did I just intentionally kill him? Mona looks at her rings and says, hey, is like that part of the confusion too? Do you think I wouldn't notice you had a fake diamond on? Hanna says, Jordan and I broke up, but I'm not telling anyone yet. Caleb and Spencer are going through stuff, and Mona's like, well, you can't hide it forever. And Hanna notices that she's missing a gold chain on her wrist that she had on last night and freaks out about it and thinks that it's in Rollins' car. And Mona's like, no one's going to find it there. Arya and Emily go to try and see Allison. They then see that police are there. Toby's there too. Emily thinks they're here because Emily asked Toby to look into Rollins. Toby walks over and tells them to come with him. Spencer comes back to the barn and finds Caleb's half of the closet empty. If there's one thing you can do is pack up a closet quickly.
How does that boy pack so fast?
And he left his painting too. Spencer lays down on the bed and cries. Mary enters Allison's room, and Allison goes to ring for help, and Mary says, no need to ring the police. I'm in charge now. Aria, Emily, and Spencer meet with Toby at Lucas's apartment. Toby's like, Rollins is dead. Hold for a beat. He's been dead for 15 years. The real Rollins was 72 years old when he died of a stroke. And the fake Rollins has been using the identity for the whole time, and he must have known we were close to finding him because he's missing now. It's going to be our top priority now to find him. Toby then leaves and tells them to keep it to themselves and tells Spencer specifically to stay careful, and Spencer wonders who the hell they killed. Hanna and Mona break into Rollins' car at the train station. Mona and Hanna search the car and find her bracelet. As they walk away, they hear a phone ring. They then turn back around, and Mona finds a secret compartment under the driver's side floor mat and finds a phone. She picks it up, and it's Jenna on the other side asking if it's Archer on the phone. The end. Why would you keep your burner on loud?
Also, he made a special compartment in the car for you.
In this little compartment.
In a little secret compartment.
But then why would you keep the ringer on?
Well,
why would you keep it on?
I don't think he was a good villain.
No, he wasn't. Why would you keep it on?
Okay. So, would you have just gone straight to the police with this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he kidnapped her friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was scared. We went to go follow because we got a message. He sent us a message that said SOS. We went to go follow him, and then he ran in front of our car.
He took Allison out of the hospital. That's good enough there. So we were like going to follow after that.
We got a message telling us to follow. We didn't know.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like just like you could, if you wonder if he had done anything bad, he took a patient out of the hospital and was driving her.
Yeah.
How else would Allison have gotten out?
Yeah. I have lots of questions about this.
Oh, they're
also,
so bad at this.
Why are they freaking out over him? But like Shauna fell off a stage and died, and they were like, "Oh, Aria, just get over it."
They didn't like go through like cleaning up the crime scene in the same way.
I also think it's interesting that Aria is the one that's very hung up on going to the police at this particular era, because it's like, girly pop. Like, 1, you're the best liar out of the group. 2, you killed Shauna, and 3, like, why? What have they ever done for you?
What have they ever done for you?
You didn't go to the police when your teacher wanted to date you.
Well, she thought she wanted that. She still thinks it's a good thing. But I guess maybe just for Aria, she's like, well, I got that really like bit me on the ass, not like going to the police.
So now I want to go with everything.
Yeah.
It's like she went from being completely unruffled by everything, including being put in a box with a dead body, to now being like, oh.
She is the most ruffled. Out of everybody, she's the most ruffled.
She's ruffled. Okay. Will the glass shard Hanna found in her hair become a problem later? Or is it just simply a glass shard?
I took it as just like, oh shit, I'm like, she's like carrying it with her now. Like, this is like a symbol of her trauma. You can't ever get clean.
Mm-hmm.
But as a piece of evidence, I hadn't really thought about.
I think a lot about this episode because, like, first of all, or I guess is it the next episode where our girly pops are going through the room with no gloves on? Yeah, it's the next episode. I'm just like, you guys learned nothing. Emily has touched, 1, what we thought was the murder weapon. 2, now everything, you'll get this in the next episode, in Rollins' apartment. Meanwhile, Hannah's bringing home evidence from the car crash.
Mm-hmm. They're so bad at this. And then when Mona comes back, it's just such a difference. Because Mona's like, we have a plan. We're putting this here. Are you idiots? Why would you burn a car in the woods? They're going to ask questions about why the car was being burnt in the woods. And like, why did you drive? Why was this car here? Blah, blah, blah. I could trace this back. Mona's just like, you get it fixed. You cover it up. You put it away.
Yeah, the car was never involved. It's fine.
Uh-huh. They would have to somehow trace back that you had your windshield repaired at this exact shop in this random location.
That I am the only one that keeps the information to.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Let's talk about the Caleb, Spencer, Hanna scene. What do you think? What do you feel? I've obviously already professed my love for the visual aspect of that scene.
It's extremely well done. Of like, Hannah's just out of sight, and exactly like you mentioned, Spencer's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot heavier than any other kind of relationship scene we've gotten before, where you could really tell that they're like past like a point where, if like I'd never say no return, but like where it's like things are so bad between them that it seems like irreparable. We haven't gotten someone like Caleb or any other like relationship partner where they're in like that sort of pleading and begging of like taking them back, and like completely distraught. Like there's been other times where it's mostly the friction that we see between people is like too proud to like back down off an argument and then coming back and it's the big sweeping thing and they make the profession and it's much more like put together. Like Caleb is coming here in like the heat of the moment almost. He's like so flustered and so thrown off by everything that he can't put together. He's like grasping at straws to like make things work with Spencer.
Yeah.
And then it's even better too having Hanna there. I mean, even I say better and just
like for a scene, not like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it way more devastating because Hanna has to hear all this and she still has feelings for him. And so then it goes like, oh God, like I've made the biggest mistake of my life.
By deciding to end my relationship because of this fleeting moment with this person.
Yep.
Yes.
And then Spencer's like, again, and then it's heightened because Hanna killed someone. But like Spencer, exactly like you said, has to be protector to Hanna in this moment.
Yeah, I really, it's really like well thought out and good little scene and plot point. I wish they put that kind of consideration into the actual storyline of the show, but they didn't. And it's really, I think it comes to like it's a really interesting head where it seems like the Hanna Caleb relation, like Caleb is past the point of no return. Like there is no going back to Caleb after this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which I was surprised by. I was like, oh, I was really surprised by the scene in general.
Well, I say that, but it's Pretty Little Liars. So Ezra's writing a book,
but yes, he is.
Ezra was
always
writing a book.
Writing a book.
I do like the begging. I do think it would have been way better on the show if more boys had begged. I think one should just always, I think more boys should beg.
There you go.
And then when they get their no, they should take their no, go lick their wounds. But
yeah, I mean, we haven't seen someone look this like pathetic.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the word pathetic for that. I think it's like he's like emotionally distraught because it's the things like I would say like his action, like kissing Hanna when he's dating Spencer is pathetic. But I think that like men expressing emotion in like a big way that is not violent or dramatic or forcing themselves. I guess it is dramatic, but it's dramatic in like the I'm having an emotion way, not in the I'm like sky writing that I love you in the air.
Totally. No, and I think where I'm pulling the pathetic thing from is that he's coming to after making like this huge mistake of kissing,
like licking his wounds.
That it comes off not that he's showing the emotion is pathetic. It's that he is now backed into this corner because of his own actions of like cheating. So that's that. Yeah. I think that's pathetic because of what he's done to himself. Not. Yeah. But that's a very good call. So I'm glad you pointed that out of teasing that out.
Like men should have more feelings.
Absolutely.
I say that as I'm married to a Cancer.
Cry all the time.
Okay. What do we think of Marco?
You know, he seems fun, and then we get the shoe drop next episode. It's like, damn.
He's a cop.
Yeah, I know. And then when you put two and two together and you're like, so Lorenzo just got fired? I'm like, Lorenzo.
I wasn't saying that. I was just asking if Lorenzo got fired because he's not there anymore.
I know.
And this was
Toby's all mixed up right now. Or maybe
that's not true. Lorenzo got the promotion over him.
Yeah.
So did Lorenzo get promoted and then leave, or is he still there? But this guy came in to do this case, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And Toby got put on it because he's close to it.
So what about Lorenzo? Where is Lorenzo? I mean, so unfortunately that Marco is coming in against strong headwinds here, but he seems all right. I like there's this like flirtatious scene at the bar, but again, it does with the knowledge we get from next episode. You're
getting shades of Fitz.
Right, and just that like
Did he know who she was?
Exactly, because he's like on the case. He's new in town, so of course he would know who these people are.
Do you think he was already on the case then, or do you think he was put on the case the next day?
What was he doing in town in general?
Like, I think he came in for it, but maybe he hadn't started work yet. Because you always get really drunk the night before your first day at a new job, right?
That's right. Go pick up on women before the day of
I just
job.
remember this episode watching Spencer drink and being like, oh shit, she's going to be too drunk. Oh shit. She, like from the very beginning, I'm like, she's drinking martinis.
Yeah. That's...
You don't drink a martini and drive.
No.
You can't even have one martini and drive. I'm pretty sure I'm legally drunk after looking at a martini.
There's nothing to weigh down the alcohol there for you.
Yeah. It's the olives.
Yeah. I like the whole flirtation. I think he's like charming enough guy, but
I love when Troyan gets to flirt because and also that she tells him she's burying a body. Like that's
good.
And like, she's a sad girl at the bar. So it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I really like that scene, and Marco, we'll see. Not sold yet.
My next question was, how does Caleb pack so fast?
Is that true?
In the Spencer category. Like, this boy clears half a closet, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Record speed.
I think that's the other thing, too. That we need to
and he's so quick to leave.
Yes.
Why is he running?
Mm-hmm.
Where is he running to?
Spencer asks for time, and he leaves.
Yeah, he needs time now?
Bro. Yeah.
He needs time now?
So this is going to wrap back around, too. You're acting pathetic.
That's fair. That's
Boy,
accurate.
you got to fight.
Did Allie just follow Charlotte to the church? Did nothing else happen?
Sorry, real quick. I was thinking of the tweet that was like, you got to stop with this nonchalant shit or else you're going to get nonchalant.
I did show that to you.
So funny.
That's me.
Okay, sorry. Allison at the church.
Did Allie just follow Charlotte to the church or did something else happen?
Oh, it definitely points to that something else. Wait. No. I think she actually just did.
Okay.
Because I was getting confused with the theory I was like proposing in my head for a scene, but then gets disproved after.
Okay. So you don't think Allie knows who killed Charlotte?
No, I don't. I don't think she does. Because I feel like we would know because Allison was really protective over Charlotte.
What? So in that scene then, is Charlotte playing Allie? Like, did she already know that Rollins was using Allie to try to get her money? Like, were they all working together or was Rollins playing that? Like, you don't think Charlotte was involved in the scheme?
No, I think what we get from Mary actually in the next episode was kind of where my head was at, that Rollins is kind of running his own scheme, that he says he's going to do this, but actually he's like, playing everybody. So I think that's exactly what happens with Charlotte. So I think in that scene, she is actually distressed of like, you are not only seeing my doctor, you're seeing my lover. And this is completely upending my life. And he's pretending to be someone that he's not. Or wait, no, but she doesn't know that.
Does she know that?
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that.
Uh-uh.
So then do you think Rollins hurt her?
Oh.
Charlotte?
Oh, yes. Do I think he killed her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's still my theory.
Okay. What's the motive there? Because she figured out his...
Yeah, I think he probably came to see her and it was like a heat of the moment sort of thing. And he's a violent man.
That's true. Why did Mona fix the windshield?
Because she's so smart. And she's protecting Hanna. She goes into like, Hanna is my
the
best
relationship
friend.
we all deserved.
Yes.
Actually,
Hanna
no,
is my
I
little
want
sister.
I've always said I want Mona and Spencer together.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I think it would be like the best enemies to lovers. I'm sure there's a fan fiction out there somewhere that is, if someone knows of one, you want to send it my way, let me know, put it in the comments. I don't really read a lot of fan fiction. I just haven't, not because I don't, but but I feel like that would be right up my alley.
Yeah. Question to the audience. What are like the big like ships?
Not from the show?
Yeah, not like, and I'm not talking about, I said like alternative ships.
Okay, got it.
So not Ezria or like Spoby or any of that sort of stuff. Yeah, Emerson. Like, are there what are the big like other ships that are of say like Sparia or
Hold on, I found a Reddit thread.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is like everyone's favorite ship. Hold on, this is not helpful.
I think that's where it gets a little bit confused. Where if there's like alternative ones, I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah,
I don't know what you would call Hona. I I don't really like that one. Mana. But I see their relationship too, which is interesting, as like Mona seems like Hannah's big sister. That they're like super close, like they are related, but like Mona is 100% taking care of Hanna. And I think understanding where Mona was at as the really smart one when they were also redefining themselves and she was like shaping Hanna, I feel like that plays really well in there because she's also like trying to protect her, and the best way she knew how was to like how they like reshape themselves into Allison, and Mona was really guiding that, and that's when Hanna feels weird. And so I like when there's the chance for Mona to like really jump in and really try and protect Hanna, like in these episodes.
Okay, wait, someone posted on a Reddit thread their crack ships, and one of them was Spemily. But
family?
Spemily, so Spencer and Emily.
Okay.
But one of them was Hanna and some consequences. Really they also were like Arya and Jason. Like, I didn't mind with Holden. What about Jake?
Jaria is not.
Well, but is Jaria Jason? Is Jaria Jake?
Ours. We're gonna set it down right now. I'm assuming Jaria is Jason and Arya. I feel like more people would probably like jump on that.
Someone said Jenna and Emily because of the looks they give each other on the first Halloween episode when Emily's dancing, or when Jenna's dancing and Emily checks her out.
Fair enough. I feel like there's other like Jenna ones.
Spencer and Ren.
I feel like Jenna and Arya would be more.
Oh, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. But wait, sorry. What was the other one you mentioned?
Oh, I already left the page.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's still fine. For Pretty Little Pride, someone had ideas. Okay. Someone made a little cartoon.
Pretty Little Pride. That's great.
Uh-huh. This page is riddled with ads. Oh, no. Okay. This is too much for me. I can't do this page. It's got ads everywhere.
Well, chime in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
I really want to know.
How do we find them? I mean, besides just Googling.
Yeah.
I'll do a deep dive for next time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Remind me. You, not them.
Yeah.
It's not their job to remind me. I don't.
You remind me to remind.
You do check the YouTube comments
so
and then
when I
tell
go
me.
to the comments, I could be like, "Hey."
Okay. Who do you think is helping Elliot? Like anyone besides Mary Drake and our obvious
Jenna.
Okay, you think Jenna's helping?
Oh, yes, but like I think she's also kind of getting played there.
Okay.
Who else? So I think Rollins, Mary Drake. Oh, AD was part of that. I think this like part of that whole crew of like what they were trying to do there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rollins was kind of a lone wolf in a lot of ways. I think he was just playing everybody else. I don't know if he was involved in that group of people, but I don't think he was. Oh God. Noel returns.
Yeah, that's the next episode.
I know.
We get Noel back.
Can't help. Yeah, I'm like, who cares? Stay gone.
I think it'll be worth it for you.
Okay, cool. I just have no love for Noel.
You don't need to.
Okay.
Why would you ever?
Yeah.
In the books, he's kind of like likable.
I just meant like interesting. I don't find Noel interesting.
No. Well, I mean, yeah.
I didn't do anything.
He was just eye candy, like as a plot point.
And he just comes in and like grins and says something shitty and moves on. Okay, wait. Who else could possibly be helping? I don't know. We've gotten pretty thin. Ren.
I mean, the Brits all stick together, right?
That's right. Why was Charlotte calling Ren? Forgot about that.
How does Jenna know?
I guess Charlotte knew Ren from Bradley.
That's true, but like, why would she call him?
Maybe they had a good rapport.
I don't call my doctors socially.
Did you know?
How does Jenna know about Allie being in Welby? How did she know about Hannah's engagement? What does Jenna know and how does she know it? Is it all through her
Rollins.
connection? Okay.
I think it's all through, or Archer. Sorry. I guess we should probably call
Archer
him.
Dunhill, 80.
Yeah, most British name possible. Archer, yes, AD. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
What went down 3 years ago between Jenna and Toby?
And it's their family too, because he also asked if her dad knows.
If his dad knows.
Yeah. Or yeah, right. Something horrible. Did they like their parents get divorced and like Jenna made a scene? Like, what did Jenna do? She must have like said something like horrible to like the entire family there. I don't know. Maybe she was like backed into a corner, like going through a spiral and just like made a big scene and made enemies of the Kavanaughs.
What is Jenna doing for Rollins?
That is a good question.
Thank you.
I really don't know. I guess maybe helping with like some like gopher or like planning stuff. I think maybe on like the back end that way.
She's like admin.
Yeah, like trying to like helping like connect him to
She's his consultant.
Like mask manufacturing and
no,
like, all
he
that
was
kind of
making
stuff.
those, remember?
Right, but like maybe she was helping him get like access to like the ingredients and things, and like he was gonna work. He was eventually gonna bring her in to like come after like the friends and stuff like that. I think that's maybe why she's in town, because Allison got locked up. It was like the next phase of their plan.
Okay,
and then maybe she was working with him to like eventually run off with the money from the De Laurentises.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah. I really don't know.
That's it for this episode.
Okay.
You ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
Okay. Before we start the next one, a couple more from the Pretty Little Liars Reddit. This person really liked Caleb and Lucas, like season 2 and 3.
Okay.
This was coming out while the show was still on, mind you.
Got it.
Okay. Like 7 years ago, I think.
Cucus.
they didn't have a
Caucus.
How political. Mona and Melissa.
Oh, that is such bad vibes.
Melissa and Jenna.
Vibes. Okay. Also very dark vibes.
And then Allison and Jenna.
Yeah, that's an enemies to lovers if I've ever heard it. It's not big enough, they're both staring each other down with their Lady Gaga wigs and then love blooms.
Someone said Arya and Caleb. They had a really good scene together.
It, unfortunately, being characterized by the past 2 episodes, or the past few, actually post Ravenswood, really. It's like, Caleb, get your act together.
He really does seem better fit for Arya post Ravenswood. Like, he's like, I'm not going to communicate and I'm moody. And let me take pictures of these scary dolls. Not that Arya isn't cool, but you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people said Sparia, so Spencer and Arya.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good one.
Someone put I shipped Mona with everyone at some point.
That's kind of true.
Noel and Mike.
Nike.
Hanna and Mona. And Mona and Allie.
Yeah. Another, that's a similar vibe to like the Jenna, Allison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's just a couple more.
Interesting. All right.
What would be yours?
And my favorite on that of those ones would probably be like Sparia's up there.
Spencer and Arya?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just feel like that is chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a messy couple.
Uh-huh. And then the Jenna and Melissa, that's just dark. Our trouble queens right there. And then I guess there wasn't any. I didn't really like the Caleb Lucas, and I could see Caleb and Arya, but again, we're on a downturn on the stocks have never been lower on Caleb, so it's like tough for me to want to be like, yeah, cool.
Another one said Spencer and Ezra.
Oh,
I didn't. Yeah. I don't know if I see that one.
I can see
maybe after the time jump.
Yeah, it's like a similar sort of like, intellectual sort of thing.
Yeah, is he really that smart?
Is what?
Ezra really that smart?
They would both like talk about like
books, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Like I would say that as I'm reading. I'm like,
is he even smart?
But you know what I mean? Like she's just like horrifyingly smart, and then he's just like,
yeah. And she would just like politely like politely put him in his place all the time.
They both come from money.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay. I think Spencer and Mona, though, is mine. That's my top tier.
Yeah,
that's my number one.
I don't think there's anything else that can beat that one. Number 2, Toby and Lorenzo.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know
Boys
what?
love right there.
Spencer
Boys
and
in
Alex.
uniforms.
I miss when we were learning about class consciousness.
Absolutely. Remember, Alex?
From a boy who played tennis really well and worked at the country club. But he worked there.
Yes.
He had to work.
Oh, no. Cater to the Hastings. I'm trying to think if there's any others. You know, I mean, like, alternatives to, like, the main character. Like, I mean, Arya's had two. I feel like Jake, also Jason, I feel like, in a way, that seemed to work okay. Age difference, not great, but...
Not at the time.
No.
Now it seems fine because they're older.
What are you doing coming home after you graduate college and trying to kiss your dead sister's, like, friend that's in junior, sophomore? Bro, gross.
Men are trash.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to beat Spencer and Mona.
Thank you. Shall we get through the next episode?
Let's do it.
So that everyone doesn't have to listen to us debate this for...
I continue thinking about this. Season 7, episode 5, episode 145.
For like, you wanted a 4-hour podcast, right?
We can stretch.
I just meant us meandering through ship options.
Yeah. Wait. Also, add yours.
Yeah, tell us your favorite ship in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a do you prefer a show ship or like a crack ship, as they call them, or a...
Is that what it's called?
That's what it says on the internet.
Crack ship.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My crack ship. That's from like 7. I remember that being a thing back in the day. Well, it was 7 years ago, so not quite the Tumblr days.
That was post. Was that post porn being taken off Tumblr?
I think porn got taken off Tumblr when we were in college.
Okay. So yeah.
I think.
Post the heyday of Tumblr.
Yeah.
Anywho, season 7, episode 5, episode 145. Along Comes Mary. Arya's outside. Allison's with a pie, or with a. I thought it was a pie. It's not. It's
a casserole. It's a big ass pie. It's like a loaf tin almost, but like bigger.
That's right. A man can dream. She is calling Emily, asking if she wants to swing by on her way to Hollis. Allison pulls up in the car. Arya asks who helped Allison get out of Welby, and we see it's Mary. Jason apparently wasn't around, refusing to bring him back. Mary is now staying at the house per the doctor's orders. Allison talks to Arya alone. She was released because they thought that she might sue because of Rollins. Arya says she was Mary was just stalking you in zombie makeup. Allison says, I had to get out somehow, and it's easier to keep an eye on her here. Arya doesn't know why Jenna was calling Rollins. Mary tells them Allison has to come inside now, and Allison says, go, Arya, otherwise she'll keep acting like a demented den mother with you here. I like how much Allison, again, is back. Like, this is like Allison is like full control of herself, even if she's being put in a shitty situation.
And she's like, I've got a plan. Don't you worry about it.
Mm-hmm. We love it. Mary tells Allison that Rollins called her in London and told her about Charlotte being alive, and that Charlotte was then murdered. So Mary realized that her daughter was alive, and then all of a sudden that she was murdered. Rollins shared her grief over Charlotte. Allison says, Rollins sucked me in just like Charlotte. I don't understand why you'd agree to work with a stranger to drive me insane. Mary says, I was grief-stricken. He suckered me in too, and I believed you were cut from the same cloth. I just wanted to get the money to get revenge, but he was out for blood. Please forgive me. It got out of hand. She asks if they know anything else about who he really is. Allison says, police think he wasn't even a real doctor. Mary goes to the guest room to sleep, and we see Allison roll up her sleeves, and we see the bruises on her arm. Emily's asleep on the couch as Sabrina wakes her up. Sabrina feels bad for keeping her up all night the night before and talking her ear off. They flirt and kiss. Emily's phone goes off and she jumps to get it. Sabrina asks if it's important, and Emily's like, oh no, it's just my friends wanting to meet up before my test. Oh my God, I'm late, and says like, you can let yourself out, and runs off. Arya reads the local paper on Rollins' disappearance when Fitz comes home and she pretends to be writing. He says, something happened while I was away. I spent a night in New York and went to see Nicole's parents and told them about us, and like they were happy for me moving on. And he talks about how much they've always like looked out for him, even though like it was their daughter that went missing. And he's always felt a little weird about that, but like grateful. Arya says like, it's okay. And he's like, I'm just wanted to like, I knew it might be weird for you to hear that, but I wanted you to know. And Arya's like, I know that. And he's like, I would feel bad if I was keeping a secret from you, like if for anything. And it's like, oh, did anything happen while I was away? And Arya's like, no, and hides the paper.
Off to a great start, girly pop.
I know. Arya in this episode is truly the worst decisions at every corner, and it makes me laugh.
Once again,
so
the
hard.
bitch is back.
She is. Emily arrives late to the test, and the teacher doesn't let her in. Hannah's at the brew and overhears the police officer's radio at the counter. Spencer comes in and hears it too. Hannah's like, what in the hell did all this code mean? And Spencer's like, the call was they found Rollins' car and they think he's on the run, so they're picking up pieces exactly. Like, they're picking up the pieces, but it's exactly how we want them to. Hanna gets a text from Arya, and we cut to Arya saying Mona is looking into locations where Rollins' burner phone was used, but it'll take a while to crack. Mona also discovered his deleted text and found one that says Allison didn't kill Charlotte. He sent it the night he took her out of Allison out of Welby, and they agree he wasn't taking Allison out to kill her. They think the other phone number belongs to Jenna, but they can't see why Jenna would care if Charlotte was killed. Emily and Allison arrive at Lucas's apartment. Emily tells Allison she's seeing someone. Arya gives Allison the address Mona pulled, but it wasn't the apartment he took Allison to. So we realize he has multiple apartments. Emily says Rollin wasn't trying to kill you that night, and Allison says that doesn't make him any less of an ass. Very true. Emily thinks they should go to the address Mona pulled, but Arya and Allison think it's too risky because if police know about the place, like, they might get caught by the police there. Allison stops by an ATM and pulls out cash, but finds that her account is frozen due to insufficient funds. Arya comes into Fitz's apartment and finds a note from him that he's gone, and that he left coffee for her. I don't know where he is though because he left his phone. She hears his phone start ringing, and then she notices that it's from Nicole's number, and she picks it up and goes, Nicole. She hears a bunch of city noises and you can hear hustle and bustle,
people
and,
yelling or whatever.
And then so it sounds like a metropolis, but no one speaks at all. Arya hangs up the call and then calls Emily to ask what to do, and Emily's like, we both know Nicole is dead. You can't tell Fitz about this. What good would it do? The same thing happened to me after my dad died. My mom had given up a bunch of his stuff, away to our cousin, and he accidentally used Wayne's phone to call my mom. Arya's like, okay, I'll delete the call record then. And then Emily's like, yeah, please do that. What? What are you doing?
But the thing I remember distinctly about this is that Emily's practicing making her egg whites fluffy or whatever for her drinks. And she's just like, we should day drink. And I'm like, vibes. In this scenario, I think you girls should drink more.
I feel like making bad decisions goes better with alcohol, doesn't it?
At least have an excuse.
So bad. It's like, what are you doing? Emily, truly, I was thinking today, I'm like, what if Nicole was kidnapped and she had just gotten access to a phone and was trying to reach someone, but wasn't able to speak or whatever, and was just trying to show that she was alive. And Arya's just like, well, I should just delete the call.
Do you think that's what happened?
I think so. Emily gets an email that says she got a 92% on her test and that she didn't take. And it's followed later by a text from AD that says, you can thank me later, you ungrateful bitch. It's uncalled for because what did Emily do? When has Emily been ungrateful? It's just out of pocket.
This A is very out of pocket.
Yeah, what the hell? You don't have to call me names.
I mean, the other A called them.
Yeah, but it was more of a dig at them.
Yeah.
And then this AD's just well, here you go. Wow, I had to I had to do so much work to give you a good grade on your test.
I want to know, so have the different A's when I'm able to see the previous A's copy, what the texts were.
Oh, that's true. And
you know what I mean? Because
they inherit the position. They see everything that's been going on. While
exactly.
They were there.
You get the account that's tied to the role versus the personal account.
Right. And you're like, I don't.
Mona's copywriting was so much better.
Exactly. It's whoa, I can't possibly top this. Whereas Charlotte's just I'm not going to try. Spencer FaceTimes Hanna because she can't find Caleb. Hanna lists off some places to try at the state park, but Spencer's already tried them. Hanna sees Jenna outside the brew, and Spencer's like, follow her. Hanna doesn't want to follow around Jenna and look weird to the cops, but she has another idea, and she will call Spencer later. Emily shows Arya the text and doesn't know why AD would do her favors. Emily uses Rollins uses Rollins' phone and texts the burner number to meet up later. They text back the usual spot. Emily says it's probably the burner apartment. Emily and Arya go to see the apartment. As they go into the car, they're going to leave to go see the apartment. And as they get into the car, Sabrina walks up and Emily acts really weird. Sabrina doesn't understand why the vibes are so off and heads off to deliver things. Allison digs through her dresser. Mary walks in the room and Allison yells, "Where is it?" And she's like, "You helped him take it and now it's all gone." Mary's like, "Well, he double-crossed me too. Did he take everything?" Allison's like, "Checking, savings, and the kerosene group holdings are all gone." Mary's like, "Well, the police will find him and you'll get your money back." Mary says, like, "I'm so sorry. Like, tell me what I can do to help." Allison leaves the room and Mary sees a picture of Allison and Rollins on the ground from a broken frame. She then tears it in half. Spencer goes to the police station to ask Toby for help finding Caleb. She asks if he's staying with him, and she realizes he knows where Caleb is. Toby's like, he needs time to think. He'll let you know when he's ready. I can tell him you stop by, and Spencer's like, oh no, please don't. And when she goes to leave, she runs into Marco, who's the new detective and is Toby's supervisor. Spencer pretends she doesn't know him and leaves. Jenna visits Allison.
Caleb, it's complicated Rivers, off being, it's complicated.
Yeah. MIA Rivers. Jenna visits Allison's house and knocks on the door, doesn't get an answer, and goes to enter. And then Allison opens the door, surprising her. And Jenna's like, I thought you were in the hospital. And I was just coming by to, like, ask Rollins about, like, seeing you. Allison's like, well, he doesn't live here anymore. How did you two know each other? And Jenna leaves and is like, this is a mistake. Allison's like, your mistake was trying to convince him I killed Charlotte. Allison's like, the next time you call Archer, tell him I said go to hell. And Jenna says, maybe he's already there. Ooh. Arya and Emily go to visit the apartment, the Rollins' fake apartment, and they find a rundown apartment with a bunch of dirty dishes in the sink. They go to pull down the Murphy bed, but it's stuck. And then when they finally get it open, a mannequin head rolls out, and they see a bunch of pictures of Wilden up on the wall. So they realize the mannequin head was used to model the masks. Sarah is at Bradley as Jenna comes up, surprising her. Sarah doesn't seem to know her, though, and helps her to the bar. Jenna then strokes her gloved hand and says, you're Sarah Harvey, aren't you? She introduces herself and says, the girls you know are the girls I know, and they both commiserate about hating them. Jenna offers to buy her a drink, and Sarah's like, only if you have one with me. And they kind of do this flirting thing that I'm not super into. Emily digs through the sink and finds a package with the passport. And she's like, this wasn't just a mess. This was a cover-up. Hanna and Spencer meet at the brew. She tells Spencer about Emily and Arya visiting the apartment. Apparently, Jenna extended her stay at the Radley as well. Spencer says it could be anything that she stuck around for, and Hanna asks about Caleb and Spencer. Caleb and Spencer doesn't want to talk about him. Hanna says, how can I make this right? And Spencer says, maybe figure out why you're the one wearing one guy's ring when you're interested in another. Damn. Arya and Emily are still at the apartment. They find a ledger of his monetary transactions and find that he paid a JM and MD in cash. They think this is Jenna Marshall and Mary Drake. There's no reference to AD. Arya also finds a copy of 12th Night. Emily looks through the copy and finds that his name is signed in the front, Archer Dunhill. They hear someone try to open the door, and we see it's Toby. Toby asks why they're there. Emily says, we found a slip of paper with this address at Allison's house. Toby asks where the slip of paper is, and Arya's like, we left it with Allison. He scopes the apartment and asks if they've been near Malvern Station, and because the police found Rollins' car there was a 6-month advance receipt in his car for this apartment. And they're like, oh shit, we should have checked that. He tells them to leave before his boss comes and asks if they touched anything. Arya shows him all the shit they touched. He's like, okay, well, I'll give you a 5-minute head start. Mary comes back in the house and Allison says, I didn't hear you leave. Mary's like, I took a walk around the neighborhood. Allison recognizes the song Mary was humming when she came in. Mary's like, it's called Little Sparrow. My mother used to sing it to your mom and I. It's about love and men and lies. Mary's like, I made the same mistake as you, trusting men. Interesting. Ominous. Allison gets a call from Rosewood PD and declines the call. She checks and it's a voicemail from Marco. Allison then goes to the station to meet Marco. He got a call from her Bakes branch manager, like from apparently some sort of scene she made that day, and he understands her frustration at the bank. He tells her that they think that Rollins was after her money. He tells her about him catching a train.
I think it had to do with the amount of money that came out of her account. I don't think it had to do with her making a scene.
That he got a call from the bank manager because there was so much money taken out of her account?
Or like, because she, like that it was fraud and that she said she would handle it and they had to involve the police because of the amount.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a felony if you, I think, like theft is over a certain amount as a felony versus.
Got it. So
I don't know if there's like rules at banks of like how much, if someone says, like if I called and said that like, I don't know, like you ditched town and you took all my money and it was over like a certain amount, like they'd involve the police immediately.
Got it. Right. That makes sense. He tells her about Rollins catching a train and using his credit card to rent a car in Baltimore. The driver was then later captured on a traffic cam, and Allison starts to freak out. Emily is at the brew and sees Sabrina. She goes to talk to her about earlier, brushing her off. Sabrina's like, I get it. It was just a date. Like, you don't want anything. It's no worries. And then Emily's like, no, I'm not brushing you off. I wanted to ask you on another date. And Sabrina is excited by this and says yes. Emily walks back to the counter and sees Sarah with Jenna. Sarah waves to her and then brings Jenna over to talk to her. Sarah says, late night study session. I hear you finishing up at Hollis. Emily asks how she knows, and Jenna's like, I heard it from Toby. Must be nice to come back and finish things that you started. Allison tells the friends that Rollins took all her money. Spencer says that they pointed the cops to Philly, so someone must know what they did, referencing the renting the car in Baltimore. Hanna freaks out and Spencer leaves with her to comfort her. Ari asks Allison if Mary is behind this, and Allison's like, no, she's just been helping me out around here. They wonder if it's Sarah and Jenna. Allison says Jenna showed up earlier asking for Rollins, and I gave up that we know about him being Archer. Arya gets a text from Fitz asking to talk, and Arya leaves to go talk to him at the brew. Allison is annoyed, but Emily says, oh, it's fine, just let her go. Spencer goes to bed as we get a rendition of the Little Sparrow song Mary was singing. Emily comforts Hanna at Lucas's. Allison goes to bed and notices a red sweater that was dry cleaned. It was the red sweater that Caleb gave up to AD. And she looks at the tag, and it's a note from AD that says, your friends gave me your dirty jacket, but I couldn't find a shred of evidence. Arya goes to the brew and finds it empty. She calls for Fitz and goes upstairs to his apartment. Inside, she finds a bunch of candles lit and Fitz in a suit. He's like, I'm going to talk for a little bit. And he's like, you told me a long time ago that you couldn't imagine living your life without me, and seeing you again brought everything back. I want you in my life for the rest of my life, and then proposes to her. We get a shot of someone's back as they walk up to Sarah and Jenna having a drink at the Radley, and we see it's Noel Kahn.
Okay. Let's start with Allie. Do we believe Mary Drake when Allie confronts her about like what happened and her story? Do we believe anything that comes out of Mary Drake's mouth?
Yes, I think we're getting like at least partial truths. Okay. I think there's like more going on with like, how did she get involved with Rollins to like specifically is fuzzy. Because she's like, he contacted me about Charlotte and then I automatically like went along with this plan. Like, how did she know him to begin with? How did he figure all this out? Like, where we don't get any of that. And so that's where I don't think that part's true. I think the part about him going off on his own and doing sadistic things is true.
Okay.
I do think she also exactly wanted the money. She wanted it for revenge. And I think it's more than just Charlotte too. I think it's also about Jessica and what Allison represents of being Jessica's daughter. And like, I think there's an axe to grind for Mary and her daughter not being able to live the lives they wanted to live because of the actions of the De Laurentises. So I think there's just like that stuff that Mary's not saying to her, but is like in the background. So like, again, yeah, like partial truths.
Do we believe that Allie knew nothing about Rollins' secret life?
Yes. I do think she was like actually
blindsided.
Yeah. Which I don't think matches the character, but I think that's what the show is saying, which I think is a bummer because like where we're at right now, we're back at Allison. She's got her plan. She's like in control, even if she is like under the thumb of Mary and like is like being active and being like aggressive is great. But I do think she was like hoodwinked. What
was Rollins' plan with Allie the night he took her out of Welby?
Yeah,
if he knew she didn't do it.
I think he was going to try and use her as a bargaining chip with, I don't know, maybe AD to try and figure out who actually did kill. Because I'm trying to think of like...
Do you think AD knows who killed Charlotte?
I don't know. That's where it gets a little like fuzzy of I feel like he's trying to use her as a bargaining chip with maybe someone that knows he killed Charlotte, or like the actual identity of who killed Charlotte.
Okay.
That he's trying to like use her as a pawn there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my best guess. Because it is, we don't get much on that other that he wasn't trying to kill her. Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Chair is making a lot of noise.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know why it's so squeaky. Anyway.
Yeah, that part's still a little tough for me.
Fuzzy.
Because then I also, it does get a little weird of like all these new characters being brought in of like, what is your relation?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I still don't know if you have all the puzzle pieces of all the relationships yet.
Oh, I doubt it. I think we're just getting all the characters reintroduced so they can start laying track.
What did Rollins do with all the money from Allie?
I'm wondering if they're like, it's like buried. It's like been put in the wall somewhere. I don't know what his motive is. I guess he just wants to hold on to the money.
Okay.
And like take the money out from everybody else. I'm guessing he was gonna make an escape, but like, did he need Allison to do that? I don't think so. I don't know why we'd need Allison for that. But maybe it's like inside the car, like inside a place that he hid it at. And he's got like a bunch of cash somewhere.
I'm into it. Why?
Or did he reinvest it somewhere?
Oh.
Don't have good answers.
Why did AD take the test for Emily?
I really don't know.
And how did AD know Emily wasn't going to show up?
I don't know. Just tracking Emily that day, I was like...
Turned off her alarm?
Emily's going to be late for that test. Emily's going to be late for that test. I guess maybe AD wants to show that, like, AD isn't completely against them and just wants to know who Charlotte's killer is.
Okay. Sure.
I guess. That's my best, like, idea is, like, I'm not, like, you are not my enemies unless you make yourself my enemies.
What does Arya says after that? She says something about how like, oh, like you don't want to know what it'll like, you know, like you don't want to know when AD's going to call that back in, basically. Like, oh,
right. This
leverage?
could be another favor. Yeah, totally. Because A's definitely used that before of like, oh, I'll help you out and then blackmail you and do something, which is definitely possible. But I feel like because AD seems much more of trying to find out like Charlotte's killer first of all, and so when they figure out that Hanna isn't the killer, like they, you know, the brakes get pumped on like AD going after the girls. Like there's like the texts have not been frequent. Like they've kind of stopped other than AD helping out Emily.
That's
so
fair.
there's like no more harassment and stuff coming their way. And it's mostly just been like them concerned with Rollins. So like this A doesn't seem quite as concerned with them as enemies in the same way. But they'll still be used.
I didn't realize how long it took for this A to like really get started. Like, thinking back on like I, you know, like I can remember a lot of the things that go down, and I'm like, huh, it took this long to get there.
Because this is 5 episodes into the final season.
Yeah. So it's halfway through the first half of the season. It's a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah.
This is only a 20 episode season.
Yeah, I've definitely been looking at the episode count being like, we're kind of like really, I feel like we were going to move like fast, but I mean, there is a lot of stuff happening, but you know, we're taking our time, which I don't completely mind, but
you will.
It's interesting. Okay.
How does Sarah know about Emily finishing college? Like, if Jenna's not talking to Toby, where's this information coming from?
I think it all came from Archer.
Okay. Also, Sabrina and Emily are just really cute. It makes me happy.
Yeah. I feel so bad for Sabrina. Because Sabrina's sitting there like, what the fuck is happening? She's the most normal person to have to interact with all this stuff.
Well, and she's just awkward because of the Arya thing.
Yes, but Emily in this episode I meant. Because she's like, wait, Emily's acting weird with me, and then Emily's all of a sudden like coming back, so it almost seems like Emily's like love bombing her. But then like it appears that it's like, oh well, she's really hot and cold. Like that's her way. She seemed ashamed to see me earlier, but then when she comes and sees me at the brew, she's all excited. So it's like Sabrina's it seems like the most normal person to have to be on the other end of their like chaos. Yeah. Which is interesting.
Okay. What do we think's going to happen? Spencer, Caleb, Spencer, Marco. She pretends she doesn't know him.
I know.
Does she actually not remember him, or?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
She definitely remembers him. She's like, oh shit. It's definitely getting caught, and she doesn't want Toby to know either.
Okay, but I know I'm petty, but like picture the power move of telling your ex-boyfriend you fucked his boss in an elevator. I mean, I know she didn't actually hook up with him, but she stopped. She stopped as everyone is right to do, which was a good example of what should happen if someone says, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, okay, cool.
Marco seems like a decent guy in that respect, for sure.
Sounds good.
He's like, I'm just going to restart the elevator now.
Yeah.
I just love that she pulled the elevator stop.
She paused everything.
I don't want any movement happening.
But what do we think's going to happen? Spencer, Caleb. Are we getting a Spaleb happy ending? Are we getting a Sparko?
Oh, Sparko. No, Marco's going to be a roadblock. And I do wonder if we're going to find out that Marco knew who she was later on. Because it would seem like he would know who all these people are if he's on the case. That's all I think. Maybe Spaleb. It really does seem like we're really like pushing for like Spaleb. I'm surprised by it.
I kind of push for Spaleb right now.
Yeah, I thought after the kiss, like at the end of season 6, that it would be between Hanna and Caleb, that this would be the end of Spaleb, but no. So I'm surprised. I think we are gonna get probably Spaleb in the end, which is surprising to me. Course correct for my thinking.
When it's all over, I'll tell you my final thoughts, because obviously mine have spoilers.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you'll have to wait.
Okay.
You have to wait.
See what happens.
You have to wait. Let's talk about Aria. What?
This is not for on mic, but we can talk later of like spoiler things that
you know.
Yeah, never mind. Well, so we'll I'll have some theories, but.
Oh, are you playing with that the twist?
Yeah. So we'll come back around.
There's a fun little thing on that, but you'll see when we get there. It's not whatever you're thinking, though. I can guarantee that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Arya's like, hey, girly, I brought you a casserole. By the way, you're going to live with the woman who was dressing up in zombie makeup and pretending to be your mom, which is like one of my favorite things about Arya's character is every now and then both her and Spencer kind of, well, I guess Hanna does it too. Really, all of them kind of just like at some point just.
Yeah. Arya and Hanna are like the most notorious of just like, they can't like stop their mouths from saying it. Of just like, girl.
Are you okay?
she Scooby-Dooed you into Welby, and now you're gonna live with her?
What do we think about Ezra talking to Nicole's parents about Aria? That's my new ship.
It did actually seem like kind of sweet in a sense. You know, I was like, oh, like that's actually, we get a really good side of like Fitz here.
He's like closing a chapter and moving on and being like, hey. And
he is very open that he's like, yeah, I always, you know, I'm very grateful for them. I always felt so awkward. He doesn't use awkward, but it's like he's always felt that he didn't deserve their sort of worry about him when their daughter was the one that went missing. And, when he left, they had the fight. So he feels weird about how he left with Nicole. So I think that's like actually like kind of sweet that he's like, hey, I feel weird about this like relationship I had with your daughter, and like obviously we have a relationship, so I want you to know, because you're important to my life, what is going to happen next. And then that also makes sense later where he proposes to Arya, which, oh boy, I mean, it was coming, you know. But I think it's like, okay, now I can move on with my life.
Doing it on top of like her House of Lies is pretty delicious.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Because what were you doing deleting the text?
Okay, before we get to that though, should Arya tell Fitz about Rollins?
Oh, 100%. Just everybody should just be open books on this point, because AD thrives on lies. So tell everybody you're close with, honestly, because the more the merrier.
Who was calling off Nicole's phone?
I do wonder if it was Nicole being like, I'm trying to talk. I need help.
How would her phone be charged at this point?
Maybe she's in over her heads. Maybe she joined up with the revolutionaries and is like, and now she is like second guessing of her where she's at.
Oh my gosh.
So curious where this is going. Because like, what the hell?
What the hell indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna what the hell your way all the way there. I can't remember when this comes to roost, but it's got to be soon.
She's fighting for socialism, and I go, yay, good for her.
Why?
Wow, she helped install like the socialist or communist government. I go, good job.
Why are Arya and Emily touching everything with their bare hands? Have they learned nothing from Spencer?
So bad. Oh, well, I mean, okay, let's not. We can't go there. We might run into the police. But if we're going to be there, our fingerprints should be everywhere.
As I said earlier, Emily has now touched what they thought was the murder weapon and like all of Roland's stuff. And she packed his bag to get out. So she probably didn't wear gloves for that either.
No, there's just fingerprints everywhere.
Which I mean, like her fingerprints in Allie's house wouldn't be weird, but...
No. God. Think of like, but all of his clothes and stuff. Mona's just like tearing her hair out, trying to like keep them in order. Like I leave for a second and you just start touching the crime
She needs to host
scenes.
like a presentation, like a webinar or seminar on like how to not leave evidence.
Yeah. She's like, I have the worst team possible. I need everybody's going off doing separate things.
Okay, should Arya say yes to Ezra?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think at this point.
Why not?
Yeah. I give up. Be with each other.
Yeah, why not? You know what?
At this point, right?
I mean, we care, but who cares?
Yeah. Who cares?
Okay, let's talk about Jenna. Why is Jenna showing up at Allie's house unannounced?
It's so good where she goes to open the door. Like this is her house.
Like she knows the place.
Uh-huh.
Has Jenna been there recently?
I wonder. I think so. Because
do you think he was also dating Jenna?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know if that's where you were going.
Oh yeah, I think Archer and her were 100% in cahoots and
in bed together.
Yeah, because they do this with Jenna, that she's just like dating everybody, but then also like at the same time where she gets like completely put on the back foot here, like with Allison. So it's like she's not like capable enough to really be like a top tier girl boss in this show. But yet she has all these connections in ways that she's like intermingling with people. Because it even seems like she's like cozying up to Sarah to try and like use her.
Do you think they knew each other from before? Or do you think that's all brand new?
It seems all brand new.
Are they going to date?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's 100% where it's heading.
And
it seems again like Jenna, pulling one over her and kind of go, I don't know about this.
Does Jenna know that Archer is dead with the comment she makes about maybe he's already in hell?
I don't think she actually knows, but I think Jenna's going to be like, oh my God, it happened again.
Every man I touch.
Yeah. Well, every person. Every person, yeah.
That's not true. Noel Khan.
True. I called my ex. He's back.
Is there anyone else? It might just be Noel.
Might just be Noel. Consensually? Yes. Toby's also up there, non-consensually.
Speaking of Toby, he's a lot more tolerant than he used to be about their little hijinks.
I don't know.
He's like, okay, I'll give you guys 5 minutes.
Turning over a new leaf. He's matured.
I'm like, oh my God, you're so much more tolerable. He should be begging. Oh, if they had a scene where he begged for Spencer, I would eat that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I love Spoby.
Absolutely beg. Yeah.
I want Toby begging. I want Toby on his knees.
I will give up my badge and I will go, yes.
Yeah, and his gun. He hands her his badge and his gun, and he says, I don't need this anymore because I have you. We're going to write our fan fiction.
That's right. God.
Our Spoby fan fiction.
Yeah. His badge, her weapon. Yeah, we'll work on it.
No. Her badge, his honor.
Oh.
Because he gives her the badge.
Wow.
Thank you. Not very good, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
We're getting there.
Who rented the car in Rollins' name in Baltimore?
I know. Damn.
Who's going to be driving it when they get the thing? The picture.
Ren.
Oh.
That'd be fun. Who else could it be? You think it's someone wearing a Rollins mask? Oh, I bet it's going to be someone driving and it's going to be wearing Archer's face.
You think so? With this show and all the masks?
Yes. And they're going to be like, what the hell? We buried him. Hanna hit him with a car.
What's Allie going to do now that
who's under the mask? I guess would be the question.
Who is under the mask?
Mary's in town. Who's out of town? To do that. Oh, I think it's yes. It could also be Mona covering up.
But Baltimore? Why wouldn't she take it in the direction that they set everything going?
She was probably like, God damn it, like this plan is horrible.
Yeah, but you would think she would try to clean up their plan, then derail their plan and make their...
It could also be like AD, like wearing a Rollins mask.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What's Allie going to do now that she knows that the girls tried to turn her in, or did turn her in?
Going to start being a lot more standoffish and suspicious of all of them.
Okay.
I think she's going to like start being like more closed off to her peril.
Do you think Noel Khan matters at all and is going to have any impact on the plot, or is he just simply here because they're doing like a bring everyone back?
I think they're doing a bring everyone back, and he's going to have a minor plot where it's like, why is he so important to this piece? Like where he's where he helps Allison in season 5. You're like, what is Noel doing here?
Who else do you think they'll bring back then?
Let's see. Who else are we missing? Jake's going to come back. Alex is going to come back. I don't know who else we're missing. Lucas has already come back. Jenna's back.
We haven't seen.
Oh, Jason's not back.
Mm-hmm, we haven't seen.
He's a given.
Who else haven't we seen?
I don't know.
Ren.
We have Ren.
We haven't seen.
I think Ren's going to come back.
Paige. We haven't seen.
Oh, God. Yeah, Paige.
We haven't seen Sean.
I did also think of Sean, but I'm like, he's not important enough.
They're going to bring back Alex and Sean and Holden.
Oh, you're Holden.
What was his plot point with the night Emily dug up the grave or whatever, right?
Never comes back around.
Never comes back around.
That he like somehow
has a stamp on his hand. Yeah, and part of a secret club.
Secret club that goes to parties together, and he's like, "Ooh, I got to tell you about this later. I'm gonna, Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I hope he shows back up and he's just in a gi.
Him and Jake, they have to fight for Arya.
That's right.
Oh, Jake will win. He was teaching.
Holden doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
He also has a heart problem.
Yeah. Well, those are my questions for you, baby. Do you want to make some theories in the corner?
Boy, do I. Let us step into... Theory corner.
Are you going to do a spoiler theory corner or a regular theory corner?
Regular theory corner.
Okay, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Because I don't think I have enough to really connect the spoilers to any of my like theories that I have going on right now.
You don't have a...
Because like, good Lord. Too many people coming in now. So I think Rollins was acting on he was part of the group, but he was playing against a bunch of people, and he also somehow knew Jenna and is like dating her and was using it as like a subterfuge, and they were going to run off together with all the money, but he's going to double cross her and leave her on the bandit because he's horrible. But what I don't understand is the like what he was doing with Allison on that night when they were like when he takes her out, because it does seem maybe he was going to use her as like a bargaining chip or something to marry. It's like, you lied to me about her involvement or something, or maybe he had the direct line to AD and it's like, you led me down the wrong road, so like if you want Allison alive, then like you gotta come after it. I think they're all involved to get revenge on partially that, at least like Marion thing. I do think that it is getting revenge on like the De Laurentiis and the things that they've done to her family, and now she's back to like take all their money, leave them penniless and ruined, and expose all their secrets. And I think that's still part of her plan and forthcoming, and she's just trying to figure out how the hell to get the money. So that's when she's like, he took all the money, and like just trying to like verify like where the hell all that is with like Karasimi group and stuff. I think Jenna's play here is that like kind of like selfish thing, but I don't know. Rollins, or Archer, I should say, like where does he come from?
And where does he go?
Cotton Eye Joe. That's who he is. That's actually I can't put together what his original.
What Archer Dunhill was doing before?
Yeah.
Besides reading The 12th Night?
Uh-huh. And what is his original connection to Mary? Like, is it like somehow her friend or like schemer that she met in London over there? Through whatever her life was, because she says that she got a call from him directly in London. But like, I don't know what was her life in London. And why does she like give it all up to come back to Rosewood to get this revenge? What was her like?
Well, and also,
what was she doing? If
Cece didn't know that was her mother, why did Cece go by Cece Drake?
Yeah, that's 100% true, and it's the biggest hole in all of my theories of like related to Cece, because I don't think like Charlotte Cece knew about all this and was actually suckered by Rollins, or maybe Rollins was feeding that she could meet her real mother because he knows her. And like eventually, you know, they're gonna like be together and all that stuff, and like she like did actually fall in love with him, but there maybe was like, I'm gonna bring her over and we'll be able to be a family, and manipulate her that way. And oh damn it, I did have for Rollins or Archer
Dunhill
at your service. Crap, I lost it where I was gonna go with that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to poke a hole in your plan.
No, I just got
Lost.
wrapped up in other threads, because boy, it is a lot. So then what, the Noel of it all, I'm wondering if like Allison called him back in, of like whatever the hell she still has over him as like an insurance policy to like get in close with everybody else.
Oh, so is he spying on Jenna for Allison?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Kind of like how Caleb was supposed to spy on Hanna for Jenna.
Yes. And that she's using him as an agent, that like Allison's like, all right, I've been passive for too long. We got to pick back up the scheming phone and like get this in place. So I think that's where he's at. And then now he's like trying to ingratiate himself back into like whatever Jenna's schemes are. And then Jenna is pulling in Sarah maybe as another way to like try and find the money that Archer took and is all gone. I think maybe that's like where Jenna's at. It's like, I've been double crossed, so now I need to pull these people together for insurance and to try and like finish out this heist.
There you go.
Yeah. And then, so I guess it's just the London of it all. What seedy things are happening in Britain?
I mean, that's where everyone runs away to. Melissa ran away there.
And then we get all our villains from there.
Yep.
So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's
a convoluted corner.
It's so convoluted because I don't know so much. We still don't know so much. But that's about as best as I can gesture at this time.
And
Your
you
Honor.
never know. You never know.
That's probably true.
I'm just kidding. You might.
Will Noel go nowhere? Maybe. All right. Well.
Adieu, Theory Corner. Adieu.
We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Any final thoughts on these episodes?
No. Yeah.
Cool.
Used up all my thoughts.
Well,
Straight them out there. So there is still at least some good silly stuff going on. We'll appreciate that.
Yeah, we got a little silly goofies.
Very much. And I appreciate the energy of bringing back the Jenna.
Mm-hmm. We need Jenna. We need Mona. We need energy.
Yeah.
We need synergy.
That's right. Menacing energy too.
Yeah.
Why was it so mysterious of like Mona buying the Mustang again? Who knows?
Girl bossing and menacing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why she put it under her taxes.
You gonna do the plug?
I can do the plugs.
Okay.
Sure. You can find this podcast on all your audio podcast platforms at Dead Ends. You can also find us on YouTube at dead_ends. You can also write us an email at deadendspcast.com.
Deadendspcast@gmail.com.
It's in the description box of all of our episodes. And you can also leave a comment on YouTube. Also, still looking for
people to do the artsy things for Lost.
Yes. So, and yeah, we will.
You're having the hardest time. Send us an email, leave us a comment to tell us somehow. We'll be doing that after we do all of the Pretty Little Liars. So we still have to finish this, do The Perfectionist, and do Original Sin, and then the new season. And then we'll probably go into Lost.
Yes.
Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is synthesized there.
There you go. Well.
And you can also leave us 5 stars.
Yeah, please leave us 5-star reviews. I mean, obviously the caliber of this.
Please leave us 5 stars.
I mean, it helps.
Yeah, it does. Or so they say.
Allegedly. We love you all. We appreciate you all very much. And
we're still here. And we're going to find out everything.
Goodbye. Bye. You girl bossed your way through that.
I can't take that credit.